What's up guys, it's Robin and welcome to my channel. Today on the Robin's Nest I have another sweet little cake for you guys just in time for Halloween. Today we're going to be making a little black cat cake. So for today's cake I'm starting out by leveling and torting one extra thick 10-inch layer of lemon cake. And although we are making a black cat, I wanted to make this just a little bit more Halloween-y. So we have dyed our lemon cake layer with a little bit of a lime green color. And to achieve that color, I used a little bit of Wilton's lemon yellow and Kelly green. Alright, now that we have leveled and torted our cake layer, it is time to cut out the shape we need. So I've created a stencil using some parchment paper, and we are just cutting out the outline of the cake for now, and we're just going to take those cake scraps away, and you can save them for a snack later on if you want, or you can freeze them for cake pops later on too. You can do whatever you like. But cake scraps don't usually last too long in my house. They get eaten pretty quick. Okay, now once you've finished with that, you're going to take some of this beautiful bright violet American buttercream, and we're going to use a little bit on our cake board to attach our first layer of cake with. And now you're going to give that a nice press down to secure it, and then we're going to take a nice big scoop of this nice pretty purple buttercream and spread that out in between our layers. And for a less mess method of application, I do recommend using a piping bag to apply your icing in between. It will be so much easier. And now we're going to get that final layer of cake into place, give it a little press down, and start doing some carving. So I'm just prepping my stencil here. As you guys can see, I'm cutting out the eyes and the ears, and that's going to give me a really easy guideline to follow for carving out the spots that I need on the cake. And I'm also cutting out that little nose too. We're going to use that for our fondant later on. So I'm just using my X-Acto to simply cut the lines that I need to follow, and then I'm going to pull off my stencil and we're going to cut those little spots out using a serrated knife. And you'll want to pay extra attention cutting around those ears and be very careful that it doesn't fall apart on you. And now we are moving on to the eyes, and I'm only carving out just enough so that the eyes are going to sit in there nicely, and it's going to give a really nice 3D effect. Now mind you, this step is completely optional, you do not have to do it, but like I said, you're going to have more of a 3D look to the face if you do it. Alright, so with all of our carving finished, it is time to start our crumb coat. So I'm coming back in with the pretty purple that we used before, and I'm just using a small offset spatula to apply a nice thin layer of icing all over my cake. Starting with the parts with the large surface area first, and then moving on to the smaller, more difficult areas. And I find this tool actually works really well inside the eyes because it has that nice round tip. It helps to achieve the round shape relatively easy. Alright, now we're going around the outside of our cake, giving it a nice thin coat all the way around because we need to seal in those crumbs there as well. And now once we get that edge cleaned up a little bit, we are going to switch our tool to a small flexible smoother. And as you guys will see, I have cut this one into a sort of pointed tip so that way I can really create nice sharp corners inside the ears. And voila, I think that turned out pretty good so far. Alright, now you're going to pay a little extra attention and a little extra time on smoothing out your buttercream, and this tool works really well for that as well. And then you're going to pop your cake into the fridge for about 10 or 15 minutes to firm up in preparation for some fondant. And while that's off in the fridge chilling, we are going to roll out our nice large piece of black fondant. Now you want to roll this out slightly larger than the cake itself to take care of any overhang, and so you have good coverage. And we're using our extra long rolling pin to pick it up so we don't wreck it with our fingers. And we're putting it into place on top of the cake. And then we're just using our fingers and our Dresden tools to smooth everything out and push the fondant down into the nooks and crannies. And as you guys can see, I'm using a balling Dresden tool, and I find that tool works the best for this part because it pushes the fondant into the corners without actually tearing it. So that's really, really helpful. And if you happen to encounter any air bubbles as you're working on the inner eyes and ears, it's a very simple fix. Just use your X-Acto knife to puncture a little hole into the air bubble and just press that air right out. And you don't have to worry about the cut in the fondant because you're going to be covering those parts later on. Alright, so once you finish smoothing everything out, now you're going to trim off the excess all the way around the bottom at the cake board. We're going to pull that all away, and now we can start working on our facial details. So starting with the eyes, I'm using my stencil to cut out the shape from a nice bright green piece of fondant, quite similar in color to what I chose to dye the inside of the cake with. And to cut the circles out, I'm using an X-Acto knife to get a nice, sharp, clean, crisp cut. Alright, now we're going to set those to the side. We're going to mark off where the pupils are going to go on each one of those, and then we're going to roll out a piece of black fondant. Now we're going to mark off the shape of the pupil once again using our stencils, and I'm going to cut that out, and we're just going to stick those right into place. Then we're going to repeat that same step with our white fondant, and we're going to mark off those little highlights for the inside of the eyes and get those into place as well. And now, while I have you for a free minute, I would just like to extend my gratitude and give you guys a big thank you. I really appreciate you watching the video. To all my returning subscribers, a big welcome back, and thank you always so much for all of your support and your love. I really appreciate it. And to anybody who might be new and just discovering my channel, thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope you like what you see so far, and I really hope you'll check out another video or 2 or 10. No pressure. Alright guys, so with the eyes done, it's on to the ears, and these ones are really simple too. They are basically just 2 little triangles, and we've cut them out of some rolled out purple fondant. Now I'm just going to pick those up, stick those into place, and voila, now it's on to the nose. So I actually thought about making this part purple as well, but I kind of thought it wouldn't look right, so I thought we would go with an adorable little pink nose. So as you can see, I have a nice light pink fondant here, and it's very tiny, just a small piece is all you need, and I'm cutting out a teeny tiny little triangle. Now we're just going to stick that into place. And one last final touch, we are going to give this little guy some lips. And we're just going to roll out a tiny little bit of white fondant and make some teeny tiny little snake shapes. And then we're going to get those into place and give him a cute little upturned smile. And there you have it, guys. Didn't she turn out super sweet? I absolutely love it. And I have a very similar one as an orange tabby cat on my channel as well, and I will leave a link to that so you guys can find it super easy. And I also have a couple of dog cakes in a similar format, so feel free to check those out as well. Well, that's it for today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. Hit that big thumbs up button and leave me lots of love in that comment section too. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you'll receive a notification every time I post a new video. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a very happy Halloween and stay safe.